Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to BODS. Today is day 20. So I invite you to take a deep breath. Get very comfortable right where you are. Give yourself permission to be fully present during this time we spend together. And know that whatever wants to come up will come up. Whatever wants to be released will be released. And whatever you're ready for will show up. Let's take another deep breath. Just let it go. So good morning, everyone. Welcome back, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is you're watching this. I am coming to you live from New York City today. So yesterday I talked to you about my little story of no big deal, no big deal. And I have to ask you, what is a big deal in your life? Like what do you make a big deal in your life? What is it that happens that causes you to react in a big way? And that could be, what are your triggers? And they could be positive things too. Like, what gets you excited, right? Because it's equally as important to understand that what makes you really overjoyed and excited could also be something to look at. You know, this idea of this kind of bipolar experience of life. Like, I'm really excited, and then I'm really depressed, and I'm really down in the dumps, but I'm really excited, right? So this idea of no big deal is the concept that all of it is good. All of it is there for your enhancement, for your betterment, for your ability to live life to the fullest and out loud. So, what were you looking at yesterday? The idea of no big deal. How did it show up? Are you noticing when you make things overly important, or when you make things become in your life obstacles? And are you noticing perhaps when you are overreacting to the past? And why? Because the past is the past. It's not the present. So it's a great. I love that story, the no big deal story with my son William. And I never talk about Nora was sitting in the room when he did blow up my blender, and she just laughed. She was hysterical laughing at the whole thing while he was like trying to manage his way through it. Her laughing was even more annoying to me, but in the looking back, it's like it makes perfect sense. It was no big deal, and it was funny when you really looked at it. So anyway, so I said yesterday that struggle is a belief, and that is true. Does that mean you're going to stop struggling because you're going to realize it's a belief? No, not necessarily. You're not going to stop struggling, but perhaps what you might do is realize that it's a choice. It could also say that struggle is a choice. You know, it's a choice to use struggle in a negative way. And if I am struggling, perhaps there's something to know. Perhaps there's something for me to overcome. And I don't mean overcoming in an anxiety way, but I mean something for me to move through, for me to move over, something for me to move along, right? So struggle, the concept of struggle as something negative, that's a belief. And the more we get into alignment with the idea of sometimes struggle is just there for us to grow. Sometimes struggle is just there for us to know something more. So that was what that was about. So I asked you yesterday, what belief is running your life? What belief is running your life? An already established premise in AEP about your body. And I thought about that for myself all day. You know, what belief about my body runs my life? And there's still a little part of me that still occasionally thinks about my age. And we're dealing with someone who's having a health crisis right now. And this person's actually a hair younger than me. And I was thinking to myself, are these things inevitable as we get older? And the answer is no. They are not inevitable as we get older. Could you comprehend or conceive of yourself as moving through your life, aging beautifully, aging naturally, and not falling apart in any way, shape, or form? having any medical issues. Just I'm healthy and vibrant, and the years move along. And that's how old we are. Um, I had another experience today where somebody, I shared how old I was, and someone was like, "You got to be kidding. My God, I thought you were like," and they thought I was like 20 years younger. And I noticed for myself that I didn't have that gleeful reaction of like, "Oh, see, I look so young." I didn't. I just was like, well, "That's natural. This is what 70 should look like. And this is what 70 can look like. And this is what 90 will look like. And this is what 100 can look like." So these beliefs that we have about aging, they're really deep, deep seated. And I think we have to spend some time paying attention to them because I know I certainly did today. And it's and the day before and the day before that. And it's helpful. So especially when you realize there's part of that belief that is running, it's an energy. Remember the Joe Dispenza quote I used yesterday? Everything is about energy. What you are putting your focus on, what you pay attention to, creates the energy of your life. So I asked you yesterday, what's your story? What's your story? And I gave you a very quick version of what my story is now. And is it that story all the time? I was born, I realized I was God, and now I'm in that creative space of where I can do what I choose to do. That's a great story. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. But there are moments when my old story pops in. And, as I sit here, you can't see it, but I can look right out this window here and I see Times Square and all the Broadway theaters. And I was in the theater district today, walking by Broadway theaters, a couple that I performed in. And that's my story, right? But my relationship to that story is what gives energy to that story. So, where's the energy around your story? Not just what is your story, but where's the energy around your story? And then this, what story are you tired of telling? I'm kind of tired of telling my story of who I used to be, as if who I used to be is somehow more important or bigger than who I am today. And that's so not true. And I know that's not true. So the question becomes, what are you ready to let go of? What story are you ready to be done with? And I had something very interesting happen today that I'm going to tell you about. Um, so here we go. Are you ready to write a new story? So you're seeing this on Tuesday morning, so this will have been yesterday, but I'm doing this at the end of Monday. So are you ready to write a new story? So I'm in New York doing a new play that Kevin and I are producing, and the great actress Annie Potts is starring in it. And today was the table read. So I was sitting at the table read and we were watching the play. And we're at a Broadway rehearsal center. So a lot of Broadway shows rehearse there and a lot of projects rehearse there. And I volunteered to go out and pick up lunch for everybody. So I was coming back from picking up lunch and I was coming in the door the same time as somebody else. And I looked up and I saw who this person was. And this person gave me a big smile. And I just said, "Hey, how are you?" He said, "Fine, I'm great." And we walked together because we were both going up the staircase. So we just walked up the staircase. And I said, "So what are you doing? What are you rehearsing?" And he told me what he was rehearsing. And then he said, "What are you rehearsing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm rehearsing this new play called White Lies." He goes, "With Annie Potts." He goes, "Oh, it sounds fabulous." I said, "Yeah, it's really a great play." Then I reached out and to shake his hand. I said, "By the way, my name is James, and I know who you are." And it was Hugh Jackman. And Hugh Jackman is probably 5 inches taller than me, big, really big, the most beautiful eyes and the most beautiful countenance and personality. And he shook my hand, and I stood there for a moment and just I had a moment of this is the life I want to be in. I shared my party experience with Pedro Pascal and Glenn Close and everybody. And I was standing there and I thought, it's so funny. A few weeks ago when I was at that party, I was thinking, I want to be in the room where it happens, making it happen, not just a guest. And I realized I was there as a producer producing a new play, and he was there rehearsing his one-man show at Radio City on Friday night. And he was just so he just, he tapped me on the shoulder as he walked away and went, really good luck with your show. I was like, good luck with yours too. He goes, oh, thanks. I'm going to need it. And, we went to our separate rehearsal halls. I'm ready to write that new story where somebody like Hugh Jackman or Glenn Close or Pedro Pascal or any of them don't seem far away from me because they're not. And they're not from you. And whatever your biggest dreams are for yourself, about yourself, they're not that far away. They're right there in your mind. The the success that you long for, let's say, or the success that is desiring you to know it is right there where you are. And if you pay attention, it will show up. Maybe in the handshake and the tap of a Hugh Jackman saying, "Hey, good luck with your project." So I couldn't wait to tell you all that. Are you ready to write your new story? Damn right I am. I'm ready to rewrite it. I'm ready to be a part of it. I'm ready to do everything it takes to let my creativity, my individuality, your individuality out. So today, our theme is unlimited. And um, uh, the first lyric of Defying Gravity, I'm through accepting limits because someone says they're so. And boy, that the second part of that's so important. I'm through accepting limits because someone says they're so. I know that's not the right melody. Stephen would probably smack me. But it's important to know that. And you know who that someone is that's still telling you it's so, those limits? You. You're still telling yourself that. You're still saying, I'm limited. I can't do what I say I want to do because I know who I am or I was. No, you are God. You are the individuation of God, and whatever you have chosen to do is yours to do. So just do it. So today is all about unlimited. You are unlimited, and you are through accepting limits. There are no limits to what I can accomplish when I put my mind to work for me. Putting your mind to work for yourself. Buddha says the mind is everything. What you think, you become. So I'm through accepting limits. My mind knows the truth, right? Are you willing to think only those things that will support you? That's what today is going to be all about. Are you willing to think only those things that will support you? Are you willing to think only those things that are the truth of who you are? Not some old dilapidated story that you've been telling and that people tell you for however long they tell you, right? So are you willing? And I know your answer is yes. I know your answer is yes. And are you willing to pay attention to what you're thinking? And if something pops up asking yourself why you're thinking what you're thinking, find out why you're still accepting limits. Find out why you're the one telling yourself that you're limited, because you're not. You're unlimited, right? Not bad hitting that note this hour. So you are the big deal. No big deal? Yeah, there is a big deal. It's you. You're the big deal. And you have to make sure you don't forget that by remembering who you are. So that's our day today, right? That is our wonderful day today. So here are your directives. Unlimited. You are unlimited. Think only those thoughts that will tell you your new story. Think only those thoughts that will tell your new story. And ask why to any thought that does not comply. Okay? The only thoughts that you're to think of are the thoughts that tell your new story. And that new story is really an old story because it's the old story of how great you are, how talented you are. That's the fifth question. Do I know how great I am? And the answer has to be unequivocally yes, I know how great I am. Now, my health tip. Oh, it's not in there. I forgot to put it in there. Your health tip for today. So yesterday, your health tip 19, this is health tip 20. Health tip 19 was all about staying active, staying alive. Today, I'm going to go the exact opposite. I would like you to take time today to just sit in contemplative knowing of who you are. That's the match to unlimited. So really spend the time knowing who you are. I'm getting this shaft of light coming off the East River. I'm like turning into this beatific version of Dr. James Mellon because I am unlimited. Look at that. I'm going to just like beaming me up, Scotty. So there you go. Take some time today in contemplation Take a few times today in contemplation of who you are. So take a deep breath, if you will. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you all for doing the work. Do you know, the more each one of us gets clear on who we are, the more good energy we put into the world, the more passion, the more creativity, the more success, the more love we put into this beautiful thing called life. So I am knowing for you a day filled with unlimited success in all areas of your life, your health, your wealth, your relationships, your creative expression, all of it unfolding perfectly. And I know mine will too. So have a beautiful day, everyone, and I will see you when I see you, which is probably tomorrow. Namaste.